Now, welcome back to Life the Wild Ride. I believe this is video 3 maybe of the tiny trailer build. And let me just kind of show you a little update of what we're doing. So as you can see, I took the hitch part off. There it is there. We're going to be getting obviously a newer, much more modern one to put on here. Then what I did is I loosened up these bolts here. They are partially holding this, but then this is welded as well. But the weak area on trailers is really here because of potential bending up, which is putting pressure down on that, or it could be here back to here, which could bend up with weight. One way to help strengthen this up, make it much more solid, is to extend this tongue all the way to the back. So then, in order for this to bend, it's either got to give way here, or it's got to pull down on the back because the whole length of it's like a backbone. And so that's what we're going to do. And I got a piece of pipe right there that goes all the way into the back of the truck there. We're going to be cutting off an 8-foot section of that. It will slide inside this one just barely. Pull these bolts out. We're going to re-drill through the new pipe that's in there. It's going to go well up past, I believe, this cross member right here. So it's going to give strength at this point, and it's going to continue all the way. We're going to connect it to that cross member and the rear cross member as well. So when you're pulling the trailer with a vehicle, you're pulling all the way from the back as well, not just on the front. And when the thing is bouncing at all, it's not putting all that extra stress on these particular joints up here, which would be the weakest. And if you look at some of like the store-bought trailers and stuff, some of them fail in this area. I've seen videos where they've folded up here. So by having this other pipe slid inside here, welded and or both bolted, it's going to add another layer of strength inside this, so it's stronger at this point. And by having it go to the back, it's going to take a lot more force for that to bend this than it would be to bend this right here because of the levers that it has all the way out through there. So we're getting ready to cut that piece off, and then we'll work on sliding it in here and drilling it out, of course, and then fastening it to these back two members. And I also pulled out the wire harness because we're going to put all new. So once we get that ball connector off, we pulled the wire out through, and we'll clean out inside the pipe and spray in there too to treat it. But everything seems to be pretty good. Now this thing was, like I said, handmade years ago. So this metal is like good metal, probably back from the 50s or 60s. So even the bolts unbolted after all these years, and they came out, including the ones that held that. So difference in metal today compared to years ago. So this thing is pretty rugged, and probably perfectly fine just the way it is, but we're going to add that particular rib all the way to the back. And then hopefully shortly after that, we'll start getting a base in here and building. So that's just kind of a quick update. Maybe I'll add to this, maybe not, we'll see, but that's where we're at for now. Other than that, no other major changes. All right, just a little quick update. So we got that pipe in there, and it just barely fit to the point that I had to use this big sledgehammer here to pound it in. There it is, kind of flush with the back here, so we'll be able to attach it to this cross member, and we're gonna attach it to this cross member. And it goes all the way up to here. And I marked it before I slid in there by laying it on top. So now we have all that extra support inside here that this is not going to want to bend. I mean, that's just way more than we probably need. But now when we pull on this trailer, we're pulling the whole trailer. We're not going to pull this thing apart because some of the pulling or the strain is going to be attached to each of these locations. So there you have it. Now we just got to get the parts to connect it. Probably going to weld it, but that'll probably be it for this update, and kind of we'll see where we go from here. Well, welcome back to Life the Wild Ride. This is probably a month after the last video of the tiny trailer build, because I know we took a trip to my sister's and had some tree work in there and probably a couple other things. So I think I have some footage already of this before I got to this point, talking about the hitch and stuff, and I think it's video 3, so this very well could add on to that. But anyways, let's look. This is where we're at. We basically had to do a lot of thinking to see how we'd want it to start out, because the frame is not exactly the size we wanted. So this is what we ended up doing. But the floor, so basically what you're looking at here is the basement. And we're going to work up from here. The floor to the unit will actually come out to here. So it'll just be over the top of the wheels. And it's going to come a foot past this and a foot past the back. The reason why I made this decision based on making it as small as what we were going to do originally is after hauling the Beetle down to Michelle's with a 2,000-pound trailer and an 1,900-pound Beetle, 4,000 pounds, the car hauled it like there was almost nothing there. This is not even going to be a fraction of that weight. You know, maybe let's say this is 1,000 pounds, still a quarter of that weight. So I decided to go a little bit bigger, and it's not only that, it's a fraction of the size. So even by going a foot longer here, it's going to make it a lot better for us to have a queen size bed in there. So a little bit more spacious than we first had planned, yet still be very small, compact for really getting around with it. So this is where we're at. So basically I got the subfloor here, the basement floor is pressure treated, and then we're building up from there. I got these pressure treated beams all the way around, and those are bolted down to the frame, and then I'm just fastening everything to that, working our way up. So now the frame wasn't exactly square because this is a homemade trailer, so I used these strips, you can see right here, to fill in the gap. I wanted to make sure my box was square, so I'm starting off square going up from here. So I just used that to fill in, and I used liquid nails on everything as well as bolting it and screwing it down, so it's going to seal it as well. So this will be our base. We're going to lay a sheet this way and a sheet this way because one sheet's not big enough for the whole thing, and I didn't want to strip up the middle. And then we'll start, that'll be our base, going up from there. And of course there'll be two doors, door on each side, I think is what we're planning. So this is kind of where we're at here. Basically now I just got to go find some paint, and I'm just going to put, I don't care what color it is, there's some old paint that we have around here that needs to be used up to coat this whole thing, outside, inside, everything, before we start building up from here. So yeah, that's where we're at there. But look at this little find right here. I was at a friend's house, and this thing didn't have, the trailer didn't have a jack stand type crank thing, and he had found this one that someone was throwing away because it was broken. And I can tell you exactly what they did. They forgot to twist it up and have it horizontal when they took off, and so it dragged on the ground like that sideways and bent the mechanism, of course broke the wheel. Well, a lot of people will just throw it away, and that's exactly what they did. So I'm just going to take this wheel off here, bend these two pieces back, and get a new wheel, or even possibly make a wheel for it. Because again, we're building this on a budget, because really our dream vehicle is that bus build we're working on. But this is going to be our temporary camping home in the meantime. So I might just make a wooden wheel, so I really don't need it to roll per se. I just want to be able to disconnect it from a vehicle and have it stand on its own without putting the tongue in the dirt or whatever. So, I don't know what these things cost, but aside from this, the thing is like new. It works perfectly fine. Just need to bend these two brackets and put a new wheel on it. Whether it's a wooden wheel, who cares, So that's what we're going to do. So that was a nice find for free. So this is where we're at so far. We got to go get 2 sheets of plywood for this part here. And we're really doing this kind of in between right now. The weather hasn't really turned cold yet. We've been very fortunate outside. And today it's drizzling, but it's going to be clearing up here within an hour. And then I'll be over underneath that tarp right there is a stump grinder. And I'll be working on those trees some more, because here it is early November and we're still getting 50-degree days here in Maine. So haven't done too much on this other than just in between here and there. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a quick update. That's where we are. I'll probably make this the end of that video that I've already started, because this is already 5 minutes and I don't know how much footage I already have. So this, I guess, will be, I think, video 3. So thanks for swinging by Shane's Main Shop. Sorry, not Shane's Main Shop. Thanks for swinging by Life the Wild Ride. I will give you another update when we have one. Talk to you later. Have a great day and happy camping. And don't forget, life is a wild ride.